Hi, my name is Keeley Moree, and this is my oral case analysis for the Organizational Behavior course. Today I'm here to discuss the career highlights of Heidi Roizen, as well as talk about how she was able to use her network to create success as a venture capitalist. Before her career even kicked off, Heidi came to recognize that she was what Adam Grant would have considered to be a selfless giver. Prior to her fiance's death, she considered herself to be a supportive fiance, but didn't really have an identity outside of that. And so his death really marked a turning point for her. She decided not to live her life for others, but to be able to help others. And so this was an important moment for her as it helped her to recognize and be able to draw a line both personally and professionally for herself. Her first position was at Tandem, and this is where she saw an opportunity and really recognized the importance of networking with people. She was the editor of the company newsletter, which gave her the perfect position from which to be able to learn and meet key people within her kind of new network and new industry. And she was able to build a large base of people that she knew. At Teammaker, this is really where she focused on building a powerful impression. She continued building relationships, but in a stronger way. So she began serving on boards, and this allowed her to gain access to important ties within her industry. And this is really what set her up for her next step at Apple. At Apple, this is really where she was able to focus on putting her network to use, really getting to reach out and call on favors as she needed them because she had built that prestige and that kind of reputation about herself that she was able to confidently go forth and talk to people she hadn't talked to in a while. Because when they first met her and got an impression of her, it was a genuine one. She really just wanted to know more about people and get to know them and really kind of see what interested them. So after Apple, she went on to be a mentor capitalist. And this is where she was able to focus kind of on maintaining and kind of cleaning up her network. She was able to contribute time and expertise to others. And so this provided her the ability to strengthen the networks that she did have because she was able to lend herself out to people and help them make connections even further beyond hers. She did this by hosting dinner parties, which was something that allowed people to get to know her more personally, and this really contributed to her overall likability. And finally, as a venture capitalist at SoftBank, this is where she was able to manage her network ties and use connections to the best advantage possible. With less time, she more intentionally went out and found ties that were not quite people she knew, but people who knew other people that she hadn't been able to reach out to yet. And so even with her busy schedule, she intentionally set aside time to meet special people and specific people to continue her networking. Arguably, the strength and really the size of her network is what contributed to Heidi's power. She built her network in a way that was very smart, and she did so very efficiently. She participated in multiple boards, and she had created relationships with key people. She also went out of her way to build connections and opportunities for others. And she really kind of focused on building a better network. Not just getting to know lots of people, but really building a strong network that was very diverse. She intentionally met with brokers. This was referenced in that Uzi Dunlop article. And she was able to meet with those brokers who had ties to circles she wasn't a part of yet. So Adam Grant discusses prestige in this book, Give and Take. And developing prestige is exactly how Heidi built her influence over time. She became influential because she was friendly and helpful, and people respected and admired that. As Adam Grant might say, she did well because people rooted for her, not because everyone owed her favors from what she had done for them in the past. Heidi didn't use fortune or status to woo other people. She served humble meals at her dinner parties because she wanted people to feel comfortable. Her intention was to connect with people, not to impress them. And so she did what she needed to in order to really get to know the true people around her. She had a lot of networking success. When Heidi spoke with people, she did so out of genuine interest for them, not just to see what she could get out of them. And so that certainly would categorize her as a giver, as Adam Grant would say, because she wasn't looking to see what she could get from people, but what she could give. Heidi also spent a lot of time early on in networking, and she really wouldn't have been able to do this quite so successfully later on in her career because she was so tied up and busy. So she really turned her networking from the past few decades into an investment for her. She built her Rolodex even before she knew how she was going to use it, and that's something that's really impressive. And she was able to maintain those good relationships, which is what made it so much different from other people in that industry. Her networking success, she really had a trait known as likability. Anyone could have really approached her because she wasn't pretentious. She wasn't difficult to talk to. She wasn't so famous that people couldn't approach her and talk to her about their ideas. She took special time to get to know entrepreneurs because she understood that you can't make a good business deal if people are too afraid to talk to you. And so she was kind and she made time with entrepreneurs because she knew that they're the key to success in an innovative industry such as technology. So the fact that Heidi often took time to diagnose the strength of her network was also a very good point, because it really underlined the fact that she felt that her network was so important to her success over time. So to summarize, Heidi Roizen's success in the tech industry bloomed as a result of her attention and her kind of purposeful building and maintaining of her personal network of people over time. And so as she stepped further on into her career, Heidi could always draw on the investment she had made over decades with people in the technology industry. And so that's something that anyone, any professional, can look back to and kind of learn lessons from in their own professional life.